What's up, Guns Out Nation? I'm John Keys. And listen, you might have noticed over the weekend we dropped a special season one trailer that encapsulates the entirety of our episodes from season one on Warrior Poet Society Network on our YouTube page. Now, we did that without warning. We didn't even tell you guys it was coming because we knew that we were going to follow that up with this episode right here, where we recap all 10 of the trailers from all 10 episodes of season one on Warrior Poet Society Network. Now, before you ask, Warrior Poet Society Network is John Lovell's streaming network of firearms content and beyond. There's more than just firearms content there. There's a lot of things about, self-defense, combat sports, you name it. He has the all-new John Lovell show on there right now, which I highly suggest you go check out. It's an awesome network. The content we were able to create on this network is unbelievable. I'm talking Netflix quality. I don't know why Netflix hasn't called us yet. Nonetheless, they don't have to because we're on that network and we like it fine just there. So anyway, we're dropping these trailers to let you check out the content because hopefully you'll go over to the network and actually binge the seasons. We have 2 full seasons of content on there. So anyway, without further ado, we're going to dive right into the episodes. And who knows, we may even have some people to jump in on this stream and chat with us about their experience in their episode, because there's a lot of people that we collabed with on both seasons to create this amazing content. So without further ado, we're going to dive right in. Oh, before that, I'll just say real quick, hit the like button, drop a comment, subscribe, hit the notifications bell, and share our content. We need the help. The algorithm is not playing nice these days. So let's go. Let's continue to grow this channel. Without further ado, we're going to dive right into the first episode. Now, what was so enticing about going over to the network, first and foremost, was that they were willing to tell our origin story, because Guns Out came out of nowhere. Everybody knows that Guns Out just popped up on the scene just out of the blue. And there's a reason for that, because we were actually on broadcast television to start. We were on the DC, Maryland, and Virginia local market, ABC7, and we had a nice weekend time slot, and we were getting some traction ASAP. Then something unfortunate happened. The show got canceled before it could even pick up steam. Obviously, when that show got canceled, firearms community and industry got wind of it, and it was just outraged. People started doing videos on us. We didn't even know it happened. And some people were actually already doing videos on the fact that we got canceled. So it was really humbling to see the community rally around us, show us that support. Channel grew like crazy, and the rest is history from there. Warrior Poet Society reached out to us and said, hey, we heard you guys got an interesting story to tell, and we're willing to let you tell that story. So, of course, we started season one with none other than the origin story of how Guns Out came to be. So let's take a look at that first trailer. So I have a confession to make. I've never owned a firearm. Then
protesters that are watching.
Lockdown happens, all the other civil unrest. I just needed to add a layer of security.
First freaking gun as a civilian, I can't believe it. Dipped his toe in a little bit, and then he just jumped in the whole pool. It's like a baptism.
We're gonna create content that's fun, informative, and educational as it pertains to firearms. Guns Out TV it is. Now, the name of that episode is Two Gun Guys. And the reason why that episode is called Two Gun Guys was that was actually going to be our name before we chose the name of Guns Out. But it explains all of that in the episode, and I don't want to spoil the rest for you. I probably already said too much. That episode is really cool because it really just tells the truth about how we got started. I was in the Marine Corps for 12 years. I never owned a firearm personally. I got out. I was out for another 8 years, still didn't own a firearm. It took the world being on fire for me to feel like, okay, now it might be time for me to purchase a firearm. And when I did, it was liberating, to say the least. So with that being said, the platform was born. We felt like there was others out there like myself, and Sharmichael and I felt that, hey, we can create some content to entertain and educate these people and maybe create some more responsible gun owners, because that's what we need in America right now. But anyway, nonetheless, next episode. So I said the show got canceled from network television, and this tells the story of how and why. So January 6th is a normal work day for me. Then all hell broke loose. All hell broke loose.
Walk down to the Capitol.
Yeah. Oh my God is right. When's the last time we saw anything like what we saw on January 6th? So January 6th was so-called the reason why we got canceled from broadcast television. It was such a crazy moment. And I mean, that episode recounts it from our perspective. You know, Shermichael and I both worked for a media company on Capitol Hill. So we literally were right at the epicenter of all that chaos the moment it was happening. And it unfolded right before our eyes. And we told a story about what we saw. Let's just say it was an interesting moment in time, not only for us personally, but obviously for the Guns Out platform. And what we thought was something that was going to really stifle our progress and make the mission of Guns Out even harder turned out to be a blessing in disguise. After we got through the origin story, it was like we needed some type of release. We're like, okay, bam, we got through this. Now, where do we take the story of Guns Out from here? And what other way to do that after all that drama in episodes 1 and 2 than to go to a place that people are they probably have this place on their bucket list because it's like the only place that I know that you can actually drive a tank. So we went to drive tanks. We filmed the entire experience, and the episode is called Tank Therapy.
What is this?
A tank!
Yeah, that was a tank. And I was driving that thing, and I almost ran over Shermichael. Luckily, he moved out of the way. But anyway, that was an unbelievable episode. I'm talking, we drove tanks, we shot flamethrowers. Unbelievable. Drive Tanks is an amazing facility, an amazing experience. If you want to go out in the middle of nowhere and do something that you'll probably never be able to do anywhere else on the planet, visit Drive Tanks. Anyway, moving right along. How do you get more epic than tanks, right? How do you do that? And how do you do that on a gun show? I think by visiting one of the largest manufacturers of firearms in the world. I said one because, you know, there's maybe a couple, but this one, everybody knows this one. And it's none other than Sig. So we went over to Sig. They gave us, they opened the doors. We toured the manufacturing facility. We saw every single firearm that they make. And we also went to the Sig Academy and shot them. And we might have left with some guns too. So all of that was captured in that experience. Unbelievable. It's called Candy Shop. Check it out. As soon as we walk into Sig, the first room they take us to is, you know, kind of like a waiting room. Full of guns. Yeah, I tried to leave with the gun. They didn't let me leave with the gun. But I left with some other guns, just not that gun. Sig is an amazing place, man. If you're ever out in New Hampshire, you definitely might want to check them out. The Sig Academy. They have this whole thing out there called the Sig Experience now. And guess what? Sig is going to be at our range day this year, August 4th and 5th. Now, how do you top Sig? How do you top Sig? I know how you top Sig. You top Sig by actually going to shoot with and film with and train with one of the best firearms trainers in the world, to the celebrities, to professional shooters, to athletes. Unbelievable. None other than Mr. Taryn Tactical Butler himself. Roll the damn clip. There's another guy that me and Shermichael talked about. Wouldn't it be crazy if we shot with this guy, right? Yeah, guess who's shooting with Taryn Butler? Jake Busey showed up. I gotta
push myself to my maximum potential.
He has confidence in you, and then you go and do it.
It's a whole nother level.
How many people you know can do that? Not many. Not many indeed, right, guys? Well, listen, like I said at the beginning of this episode, I was going to actually be bringing in some guests. I didn't tell you who it was, but you're going to find out now. We're going to bring in none other than Mr. Taryn Butler himself, and also on the road right now, my partner in crime, Mr. Sure Michael Singleton. What's up, guys? How y'all doing?
Hey, guys.
Good to see you, Mr. Keys. Sure, Michael. How you doing?
Mr. Keys. That's my famous entrance from Taryn. He always greets me with Mr. Keys.
Well, you know, it's a funny thing. There's a link there from Jake Busey to Mr. Keys. What movie was that?
What?
In Predator
That's definitely
2.
before my time, so I'm not even going to
Predator
pretend
2,
that I know.
Predator 2 not before your time, Sure Michael.
Yeah, that when you're a
still watch
kid,
it.
everything is before your time.
It's on HBO like every weekend.
That's what I'm saying. Like, we know Sherm.
His father, you know, was in that movie, and he's yelling at freaking Danny Glover, Mr. Keys. I'm gonna get it for you, Mr. Keys.
Trophies. That's the game, isn't it, Keys?
You're the lion.
You know what? I don't even remember that. And you know, I feel like I should
don't remember that either, Darren.
Right. I feel like I should remember that.
And then he goes, I'll take care of this. And then the Predator throws that thing and it cuts through all the meat. And he cuts his legs off and the legs fall. His upper body didn't go anywhere and the blood pours out. Like it was a hanging on or something. Let's watch it again.
Wow. Yeah, you know what? I feel like I should remember that from whatever.
Specific details.
Oh, listen, man, you can count on Taryn for some specifics at any given moment as it relates to movies.
Taryn could have been a neurosurgeon.
Yeah, Taryn, you might have missed your calling, man.
Probably. And Danny Glover had a crazy Benelli, like a sawed-off Benelli, and he gets out of the trunk and starts hosing everybody with it. Remember that? In the beginning. Rewatch it. It's a classic.
Yeah.
It's nowhere. The first Predator smokes it. The second one is kind of a throwaway turd, but it's still fun. You know.
I love
a walking movie encyclopedia. That's what Taryn is. Every single time.
He makes me want to watch these old movies again every time he does that, for real. So I'm gonna have to go check out Predator 2 now because I didn't even know my name had a cameo in the movie.
Yeah, Mr. Keys. You'll see.
You're asking for your check, man.
Yeah, I know, right? For real. I'm leaving.
These old movies, I mean, most of them are better than stuff nowadays. Everything's all green screen, you know, whatever. Superhero lunacy. But anyway.
You know what? That's fair,
that's
Taryn.
true.
That's fair. Now, oh, you know what? We're going to get to that. We're going to have a whole nother interview with you about John Wick because I was about to throw John Wick in there and say, how could you say that knowing that you are part of one of the most successful franchises of this decade, right? But we'll get to that. That's a whole nother conversation. But, you know, Taryn, that episode with you, Combat Master, for our season 1 on Warrior Poet, that was just such a special episode for us because, you know, we talked about shooting with you when we started Guns Out before we had filmed a single episode, and we were just talking about what we wanted to aspire to get to on our channel, the YouTube channel, and this was even before the network. And one of the things was we gotta shoot with Taryn. There's no way we can't go shoot with Taryn if we're supposed to be really highlighting the best of the industry. And man, lo and behold, it came to fruition, and that was the result. Combat Master in season 1 on Warrior Poet, man, it was amazing.
No, it was fun. It was great to have you guys out. We had a wonderful time. Tatiana loves hanging out with you guys and training with you and having fun. And we had a great time. It was awesome.
Yeah. No,
that,
shooting
that
at that
was
facility.
definitely one in the making. I remember an old friend of ours who introduced us to Taryn. I remember Taryn the first time I had a phone call with you. And the relationship just sort of built from there. And like John said, we had no idea what Guns Out was going to become. I mean, I don't think anybody had any idea what anything would become at the onset of COVID. That's really when we sort of started kicking things off. You had a lot of protests across the country. I mean, it was a really crazy time to launch something like this in this experimental kind of way of not knowing Is there going to be a marketplace? We had no clue that gun sales are going to go through the roof, 2, 3 months later. Like, we couldn't foresee all of these things.
Yeah.
And then it led to us going out to California, man. And I thought it was just pretty crazy, because you would think that something like that, training with someone like Taryn, who is a internationally reputable shooter, a consummate professional in this arena, consummate professional as it pertains to training A class not athletes, but well, yeah, athletes too. Some competitive shooters, but also A class movie stars, actors and actresses. Usually there's a process to get to that point. Like, you got to put in some work, you got to build the following, you got to know some people,
Yeah.
and we just sort of jumped in it. It was pretty insane how fast we were moving.
Yeah, it was awesome to have you guys out. You had your own little funny 2011s you brought out that were cool, and
Dude, Taryn, that's how that episode started. You were like, let me see your little 2011s. And my question to you was like, why they got to be little 2011? I don't know if you call them little 2011s or little staccatos or whatever. Everybody knows that we're the staccato boys, right?
yeah.
But I learned that day that even though staccatos are creme de la creme, there's still levels to this, right?
Yeah.
And you definitely take any pistol, any firearm for that matter. I won't even limit it to pistol. Any firearm you touch, conceptualize, it goes to another level just because it has that TTI logo on there, let alone all the gun magic you put inside the innovation.
Well, it was just like back in the good old days, just to be able to win 3 gun for such a long streak, you just can't just grab a gun out of the box, And back then, there were no 1911 or 2011s that were any good. Like, I lost more titles than I won with jacked up bad 2011s built by literally every gunsmith you can imagine, and it made me so furious, but also realize a market that's so open to just having guys promise you this incredible gun. You're waiting, you're losing championships, and you're waiting. I was very lucky because I shot a Glock for my first year and got a Grandmaster card because waiting on a horrific gunsmith to destroy my 2011 slide and frame that I serialized T1000. The other one was a Mean Machine from The Longest Yard, and those guns got wrecked by this guy and rebuilt and wrecked by another guy and wrecked again by another guy. And I realized, like, customer service is horrific. The guns are getting wrecked. I spent thousands. I had no money back then, but I was lucky that happened because it allowed me to become the first ever Grandmaster with a Glock back in like 95.
Wow.
And beat everybody with a Glock that were shooting full-blown race guns at championships. So it was like a blessing in disguise. And in my whole career, those kind of things have happened to me to get me in that position. Like, I was doing guns for Fast and the Furious. The company I started in that movie was so annoying and lame brain that they weren't happy that I put their gun in the biggest opening movie in movie history, and didn't want to and were just like, then they sent me a gun and they charged me $5,000 for it. And I'm like, you know what? I think I'm about to do this thing called John Wick Chapter 2, and you idiots are not going to be in this thing. And it's a blessing in disguise because they were stubborn idiot savants that were whining about spending a few $1,000s on a gun that's being used by Jason Statham to shred 1 million guys on a plane to save the world and save Dom's baby and stop Cypher, that I decided to do this thing with Staccato STI, which, I didn't really have any relationship with them, but they got a hold of me because I did a video on their magazines being like, finally good magazines that actually don't jam in a gun and all this other stuff. And we did that first gun, and this is kind of what it looks like. And I'll give you guys kind of an exclusive at NRA show next week. I know you guys are busy, but we're going to reveal a gun. This is this is the very first one we ever did with them. Now, it looks like your Combat Master, but we'll reveal the difference of it when at NRA show with Staccato. But we're bringing that back. But that relationship started because someone didn't get it, and someone was just whoever runs their place or whatever doesn't think straight. And it's a blessing in disguise. Now I do my own guns and I do stuff collabs with Staccato. We have the best 2011s out there, and they come out of the box ready to go, like the Beaver Tails, the Avtech Extractor, everything. Because I'm in around 100 years, so back in those days, it's like, okay, I'm going to buy this gun from this company. Now I got to put a match barrel in it because it's some junk thing from some horrible country, and this is a junk MIM hammer and sear, and this is So you got to gut it, spend 3,000 more, and then lose a couple championships, and then you're bumbling around like, it's like the Holy Grail is getting a reliable 2011 back in those days.
Yeah.
And
So
so it's kind
Taryn,
of
let me ask you this question. So that particular model, this new collab, you guys are only doing like a limited run, right? Like you guys are only doing what, 1,000, 2,000, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah, less than that, but it's a limited run, and we'll do a better reveal then. I don't want to steal anybody's thunder and our
No,
fun thing.
no, of course.
Gonna be pretty cool. It's a wonderful gun. It's the gun that I shot with you that day. I just saw it in the video, and it's a gun that pretty much every video I do, unless it's the Pit Viper or one of my Glocks, is that gun. It's so crazy. That gun slide to frame fit since John Wick 3 in 2018 or whatever, shot to pieces on the range, just ripped apart. It's got zero slide to frame movement. It's tight. It's amazing.
Wow.
So I love those guns.
The original one that you guys did, which I have been trying to get Staccato to give me, they only have 2.
Dude, he's been trying to get that for a minute.
And those things were selling for like $15,000, $16,000, $17,000, $18,000.
Yeah.
And so I made sure when this new one comes out, I'm actually on the list to get one. So John, I've been telling you early, so do not say Sherm. I did ask for 2. I'm gonna put it out there for the public to say I asked for 2.
Okay, there we go. There we go.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay.
There's something else special happening. You'll see with the box set. It'll be some limited edition, some really awesome stuff. So I wish you guys were going to the NRA show, but you won't be able to make it. But you'll see all the fun videos.
See, I told you, Sherm. Everybody's been asking, but we got what we got to do, and that's what it is. We're not gonna go into any more of that. But anyway, listen.
Well, maybe we can go and just go for the gun reveal and get the hell out.
Right. Right. We might have to do that, Taryn. You kind of twisting our arm at this point, so we might have to kind of tweak our plans a little bit. But listen, guys, this is what you get when you're friends with Taryn Butler. Like, you'll change your plans last minute, and you'll talk about everything under the sun. He's just an awesome guy, man. So glad that we got to actually meet you, befriend you, hang out with you, shoot and train with you. I mean, it was an amazing experience. I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. And again, I just want to publicly say thank you. Thank you for all your hospitality that you've always shown us, Taryn. We really appreciate that.
And it was really fun for you to fly Tatiana and I up to XCal and have a wonderful time there. We're still editing the video. It's taking forever, but to make it under a minute and a half, where it's hard to cut out all your darlings. But thanks for that experience out there. It was super fun. That place is incredible. It's wonderful.
Well, you're welcome anytime, Taryn. And we're doing it again this year in September. So if your calendar's free, man, just holler at us and we'll make it happen again.
We'll do a chapter 2 out there for sure.
Yeah, actually, it's not in September. It's in August. I put out bum information. But anyway, we'll do the official announcement some other time. Right. But anyway, Taryn, appreciate your time, brother. And we will get back with you. We're going to go ahead and wrap this episode. All right, Taryn.
Looking forward to adding that new gun to my collection.
Sure, this is great, man. Listen, this thing, the recapping this season, I didn't know it was going to take this long. So, we're going to actually cut this right here. We're going to make this a 2-part episode where we recap. We're going to stop right here because Taryn was the midway point, episode 5. So we're going to cut it right here. I know you got to go anyway. So we're going to go ahead and wrap this episode.
Make it a 2-parter. That I love about this. And guys, John and I were talking about this before we started the live. I'm traveling right now. And the beautiful thing that I just love about technology, even when I go live, like on cable news, I have literally had to do cable news hits in a car, in an airport, like with probably 1 million people watching, depending on what show I'm on. And that's the power of technology. You don't have to be stationary to communicate a message. And I just love that, John.
No, absolutely. And I'm glad your audio is working better than the video, because you said like 5 sentences, but it only looked like you opened your mouth 3 times. Anyway, all right, Sherm, I'll holler at you later.
All right, bro.
All right, guys. So look, we're gonna wrap this episode right now. The first half of season 1, Warrior Poet Society Network Guns Out recap, episodes 1 through 5. What a better way to close this episode than with the Taryn interview and him coming in as a guest. But you have so much more to look forward to, because we have 5 more episodes to actually recap. And guess what? A whole nother season of content, because we have 2 seasons on the network. Listen, remember, like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the notifications bell, help us out, because the algorithm doesn't Also, go to watchwpsn.com and use code GUNSOUT10 to save 10% on your annual subscription on the season. I promise you, just binge watching both of our seasons is going to make that subscription worth it. Don't take my word for it. But there's a whole ton of other content out there that I know you're going to love, including the all-new John Lovell show. So trust me when I say watchwpsn.com. Guns Out 10 is the code. Until next time, let's go.